Hey, in this video, we are going to model up the top for our cribbage board, and that's going to give you a chance to check off all 5 of these boxes by the time you're done making the top for your cribbage board on our computer numeric controlled machining proficiency. So this video, we're going to learn how to use the 3D modeling software to create and or modify. You're going to modify a solid object to meet a set of design criteria. The top's got to match up with the base. And then we're going to, again, set up, create a tool path, simulate, and post-process our tool path using the Inventor program. And so let's go to our classroom page if you're not already there, and we're going to take a look at project number 6, creating the 3D cribbage board. So just like number 1, this has got a binary file we're going to download. And remember, Inventor and Google don't play nice together, so Google says, what is this file? I'm not sure. We're going to download it. Once it shows up in our download tray, we're going to click this button, and that'll bring this object here into Inventor. Now, it doesn't look like much, but this object is your 8.5 by 8.5 inch square that we're going to take and cut the top out of. So we're going to kind of make that model and go through all those steps here today. So just as a reminder, we're going to kind of reference this model bar a few times here. I know students love it when I demonstrate this, so I'm going to make my model bar disappear. If you don't have a model bar, go ahead and click on the View tab like I just did. Go to User Interface and come down and check on Model Bar. We want to have this model bar over on the side so we can watch what we're doing. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do, because Inventor isn't like Google, it doesn't automatically save things for you either. So let's go to Save As. I'm going to move this out of my download into my Google Drive. I'll go to my drive, and I've got, all sorts of files here. I'm going to go to this Woods 2021. I'm going to call this cribbage board top, and then I'm going to put my initials at the end, just so it's easy to find when I output this thing. So we'll go ahead and click save. All right, now that lives on my Google Drive. If my computer falls into the school swimming pool tomorrow, I can still access this file because it's saved on the cloud, not my computer now. So now we get to do the modeling part. I'm going to come up here and click on Start 2D Sketch. I'll click on this big face of my project, and then I'm going to just use the hand here to drag this around so I can see what's going on. And I want to draw a circle, so I'm going to select the circle tool, and you'll see it kind of snaps to like certain points. I could draw the circle on this line or even with different things. So I'm going to purposely kind of go up and off the center of this project. I'll click once to start drawing my circle. I'll pull my mouse out, and I want to draw an 8-inch diameter circle. And now I want to get this center point dead center on this board. So to do that, I'm going to use the dimension tool up top. I'll click the center point. I'll click the vertical line, and then I'm going to drag my cursor down, and you can see it opens up this dialog box. Right, my board is 8.5 inches wide, so I'm going to dimension this to 4.25, 4.25, and then I'll hit enter. That'll bring that circle into the center left to right. Now I'm going to grab the dimension tool one more time, click the center point, come down to the bottom edge. I'll click that bottom line, and I want this dimension to match. So I'm going to take a shortcut here. I'm just going to come over and click on this dimension of 4.25. It'll enter that one in. Now this circle is perfectly centered on my project. Now we're going to use a new tool. We're going to come grab this offset tool. This will take an existing line or piece of geometry and let us offset it. So I'm going to click on the existing circle. I'm going to drag my cursor out, and I'm going to offset it by 0.5 inches. And that's the size of our 1/2-inch router bit that we're using. So the area in between these two circles is where that 1/2-inch router bit is going to travel. Now I'll say Finish Sketch, and I'm going to click on the Extrude button. And Extrude lets me push or pull objects. I'm going to click on this button here that says Through All. And then I need to come over and click in between those two offset circles that I created. And you can see here, it gives me a little preview. It's going to cut that material away. That's what I want. So I'm going to click on OK. That looks good. I'm happy with what I've got. So I'm going to click the little save button up top. Okay. Now I want to get 2 holes in this project so that I can put the alignment pegs in here. So they'll line up with those holes that we created on the bottom of our project. Okay. So again, I'm going to go to Start 2D Sketch. This time I'm going to click on the circle in the center. I'll grab the hand and just kind of drag this down so I can see what's going on. And our holes actually start off as points in Inventor. So I'm going to go to the point tool and I'm going to put a point kind of up on the top half, and then I'll come down here. You can see I've got a little polka dotted line coming down. That tells me these are lined up vertically, and that's okay to do. So I'm going to get that line and put a second point on there. Now I'm going to grab the dimension tool, and the distance I want to have between these 2 points is going to be 5 inches. So I clicked on each point with the dimension tool, drug my cursor over, clicked again to get this dialog box to open, typed in the number 5, and I'll hit enter. Okay. I'm going to dimension this one more time, the distance from this bottom point to the bottom edge of my project. I need to edit. Okay, so I'm going to click one more time to open that dialog box. I want this up 1 3/4 or 1.75 inches from the bottom of my project. And then I want these 2 points here centered left to right. So I'm going to use the dimension tool one more time. This time I'll click on a vertical line and then a point. Okay, that will go up this time, sure. I'll click again. This will open up my dialog box, and the center point of this board is 4 1/4 inches or 4.25. So I'll hit enter. Oop, now that just moved 1 point, not both of them. So I'm going to use that dimension trick again. I'm going to click here, click the edge of my project, click to open up a dialog box, and I want that distance for this dialog box to be the same as this one. So I'm just going to click my dimension. I'll just do that once. Right, and those points line up. Right, this is looking good. So I click the green finish sketch box. Now I'm going to create a hole. So I'm coming up to my hole tool, and you can see it previews the holes. Now I was in here practicing, so it went to my last used. Okay, yours probably isn't going to be that intuitive. So you want to click on a simple hole with no seat. You want the behavior to go through all. And down here, if we click in this box, you want the dimension to be 1/2 inch. Okay, if you set yours up so it looks like my screen, you should get 2 holes appearing at each of these points. And then we can go ahead and click OK. Again, I'll use my view cube to move it around so you can see what we've done here. And I like what I've got, so I'm going to hit the save button again so I don't lose that. You're doing good. We are 2/3 of the way there. We've just got one more sketch and an extrusion to go. So I'm going to click on Start 2D Sketch. I'll come back to this circle. Again, I'll use the hand to kind of drag it down. Okay. And this time I want to create a rectangle, and we'll dimension its size and then put it in the correct location. So I'm going to come up to the rectangle tool and I'll click here. This is a 2-point rectangle. So I'm going to click once with my mouse to get it started. I'm dragging my cursor down, and then before I click anything else, I'm going to enter in the size for this. So I want this rectangle to be 2 5/8 inch wide. The decimal equivalent of 5/8 is 625. And I want it to be 3 5/8 or 625 thousandths of an inch tall. So after I entered those 2 dimensions in, I hit the enter button, and you can see it locked my dimensions in. If you're struggling with dimensions after trying that a few times, come see me and I can help you out with that. Now that I've got the dimensions here for the correct size, 2.625 and 3.625, I'm going to get them in the right location. So I'm going to come up and click the dimension tool one more time. Right, and I'm going to click this side of my project, the left side of my project. Let's try that again. Click the left vertical line on the edge of my project. I'll click the right vertical line on the edge of that box. Okay. And I want this to be spaced out by 4 3/4 inch. And you'll notice those lines turn black. That tells me that's constrained. And now I need to set a dimension between the bottom of this rectangle I drew and the bottom of my object. And I want that to be 2 and 7/16. Okay, and I don't have the decimal equivalents for 16ths of an inch memorized. Sorry to disappoint you. And so what I'm going to do is I'll type in 7-16, and I'm going to let the computer do the math. When I hit enter here, it will figure out what the decimal equivalent for this is. So this is up 2 and 7/16 of an inch. And my rectangle is turned black. It says it's fully constrained down here. So I'm ready to hit this green finish sketch mark and move on to extruding it. So we're going to go back to the extrude. It picked the area this time because there was only one closed in loop, but you can see it wants to add material there. I want to subtract some material. So under the behavior direction, I'm going to go to flipped. Now it wants to push that in and cut all the way through. I don't want that. So I'm going to change my distance to 3/8 or 375, sorry, 0.375 inches deep. And looking at my preview screen, that looks like what I want. So I'm going to hit enter. I like what I've got here for a shape. So I'm going to hit the save button, and we will pick this up in the next video when we create and post-process our toolpath.